Welcome back to Fred Talk. I am your host, Freddie Valoy. I hope you're doing well. The weather is getting warmer. How's your mind feeling? Huh? How's your mind feeling with this weather change? You already got plans for this spring? I'm sure you already done some day drinking, or at least, at the very least, you went and took a walk outside, right? Seasonal depression, it will soon come to an end. Regular depression will remain, but there's nothing I could personally do about that, right? I can just help with perspective, and that a lot of times may not help with depression, especially clinical stuff. You know what I'm saying? But the sun's gonna be out more, so maybe just be out in the sun. If you're a guy, go. If you're into women, go look at women in sundresses. And if you're a gal, go check out some guys wearing some loose joggers, right? Some gray sweatpants, whatever y'all are into. It's spring, and this is our first real summer, I think, since the old P word. You know what I'm saying? So it should be good. And now some people are thinking, well, my summer was normal. I'm talking about for everybody, not just you selfish bastard. All right. I'm talking about everybody's cool. It's all behind us. And I think we're going to have the first real summer in the last like 3 or 4 years, 3 years or whatever. So we are here today. Today's content, we are going to cover an article that I found on Facebook. All right. And it is titled 11 seemingly innocent habits that can actually make someone a toxic person. All right. So I read through a couple of these and I was like, oh, these, I could riff on these. And that's exactly what we're going to do. All right. So these are 11 seemingly innocent habits that make you actually like a toxic person. I don't like buzzwords. I think a lot of people don't, but sometimes the word is there because it just works. And I think toxic is a good word. It even has that X in there. X is very, it's a very harsh word. It's like any type of consonant, hard consonant. You know what I'm talking about? It just gives it that pop. And I do think toxic is a good word, right? The X in the middle gives you that skull and crossbones. It lets you know, stay away from this person. So we're going to read through this. Number one, being super sarcastic. Okay, it might be hard for me to be funny on this one because I have deep feelings about uh you know being being sarcastic, or people being sarcastic. Um some people use comedy for evil. Yes, evil. They don't use it for its intention to make people laugh, to grow a connection, grow a bond. Some people use it to be shitty little messy bitches. And listen, we're all we can all be little shitty messy bitches at time. As long as we learn from it, it's cool. But using sarcasm, here's what annoys me about it is that people will be sarcastic and then someone will be like, oh, they'll feel bad. And that person will jump back like, oh, no, I was just joking. When they weren't just joking, they just wanted to be shitty, right? Or they'll say something and get in trouble and they'll fall back and they'll jump back. And I was just joking. And they weren't. They just weren't ready for that smoke, that verbal smoke. You know what I'm saying? Where they fucked up and they need to do an apology. So they fall back and they use comedy as a shield. And these people piss me the hell off. So how do you combat this? It's difficult. It's difficult. If you ain't got the sense, what's your history with the person? How's the person treating other people? Right? How does this person perceive you? Think of those things and it'll help you realize, is this person being shitty or are they really trying to be friendly? Right? Because on the other end, there are just some people that just cannot take a joke. And if you're a funny person and you come across someone that can't take a joke and you make the wrong move and you make a joke and they don't like it, apologize. And then I don't make jokes with that person again. The annoying ones are the ones that get offended. I'll apologize. And then all of a sudden they want to start joking. I'm like, no. You have shown me that you can't handle this type of adult conversation where we're joking, we're riffing, we're having fun, we're creating. A lot of times this will come from people that are control freaks. Control freaks really don't like comedy in the moment amongst a group of people, especially if like somebody will say something and then I'll riff on it, not even making fun of them, just kind of like taking a sentence they took and then expanding on it. And that'll get a laugh. And some people will take that as like they're laughing at me. And it's like, no, dude, they're laughing at the joke that I made. This has nothing to do with you. So when someone's super sarcastic, just think about those things. What's your history, how they treat other people, and how do you think they perceive you? You may be wrong on that, but this will help you get closer to whether is this person a friend or is this person an enemy. But a lot of people out there use comedy to be shitty. In relationships, sarcasm is used a lot to nitpick. This is a pet peeve of mine. Don't do it. If you do it, don't do it. Say what you mean what you're saying. If you're in the confines of comedy and making jokes, do that. Don't be half-stepping this shit, all right? See how I got all serious there? Got all serious about comedy. Comedy's no joke. But being super sarcastic is number one on the list of seemingly innocent innocent habits that can actually make you a toxic person. But this one, yeah, just be careful. Make sure the person that's, joking with you is cool people. Number two, getting caught up in gossip. Ooh, this one's tricky, right? This one, we all love a little gossip. Like I said, we all love being messy little bitches sometimes, right? And getting caught. Gossip is, here's where I think gossip is acceptable. If you're just a sounding board, you're just a listening person. It gets bad. If you start throwing in your shit and then throwing gas on the fire, that sort of things, that's where you are all of a sudden involved. The best thing to do if you really don't want to be in gossip is when someone starts talking about another person, you got to be like, hey, I don't like gossip, so can you please not do that around me? That's like stage one. I do stage two, which is I'm going to listen and I'm not going to say anything negative about the person unless I know the person and I'm like, oh, I've kind of seen those things, all that. I've seen these behaviors in that person. So I'll help corroborate this person's story, especially if it's a close friend, because then this friend is going to need talking to. So now two friends need to put their heads together to be like, all right, how are we going to approach this and let our friend know that they're being a dick? But for the sake of this article, we're just talking about messy gossip. God, this one's hard. It's so fun. Are you a messy little bitch? Huh? Are you? Have you started watching reality TV just almost like as gossip methadone to help get you off the real stuff, right? The pure uncut gossip that you were so used to your whole life, but now you're trying to heal, right? Now you're trying to heal and you want to stay out of gossip, but God damn it, it's hard. So you throw on some reality TV and you jump into other people's dramas. I think that's a great way to heal yourself from being a gossipy little bitch, okay? Don't do it. Don't add flames to the fire. If you have a problem with somebody, just go talk to them. Hit them with a stone cold stunner. Don't do that. Obviously, that's obviously a joke. The stone cold stunner isn't even a deadly move. It doesn't even hurt people. It just makes people bring their head down like that. But you do it once at a club and the bouncers want to kick you out, right? Don't get caught up in gossip, y'all. How are you doing on the gossip train? If you're listening to this, hit me up on IG. Are you a messy little bitch or are you good on the gossip? Have you fully detoxed from gossip? There's a lot of layers in gossip, man. Because here's the thing. Humanity has evolved. I read excuse me, I didn't read the book. I read like 3 chapters in the book. And it's sad because I was still interested, but just books, dude. It can be hard to just stick with one, But in the book Sapiens, they said that gossip is one of the reasons why the Homo sapiens, us, took out the Neanderthals. The Neanderthals are actually smarter than us, but they were actually more antisocial than Homo sapiens than us. And our ability to get together and talk about people actually protected us, right? When the men are out hunting and then the women are back and they're talking like, yo, you see what this bitch is wearing? No, it wasn't like that, but it was literally to protect them. Like, who's moving funny and who's going to fuck up this communal thing we have going on of 50 to 100 people? Because the more fuck ups you got, the more that there's going to be literal extinction for your village. So I found that very interesting that gossip is actually what helped humanity evolve past the Neanderthals. Number 3, I thought evolved past the Neanderthals, and I got quiet. I think they just wiped them out violently, and I said evolved. I tried to soften up what actually happened to the Neanderthals. And then if you do give up gossip, does that now make you a Neanderthal? These are cool. These are the kind of questions we ask here on FredTalk, y'all. All right. I say y'all now too. Fluidly. It's in my normal thing now. It's my little memento from the South. It feels good. If I feel way more comfortable saying y'all up north, way more. Like there's zero resistance with me saying it now. Down south, it took me years to like try to say it naturally, and I would throw it here and there, and I would just feel like a phony. But just so you know, to my listeners down south, I'm still repping it up here. I brought that's the one thing I brought back, and it's in my vocabulary. I've been doing it at open mics. What's up, y'all? It makes it easy, y'all. Pop, pop, pop. Number 3, pointing out the negative in everything. These energy draining fucking vampire werewolf motherfuckers, vampires. Yeah. Pointing out the negative in everything. Just everything you do, you just got that hate in front. You're just like, bro, why are you such a hater? And sometimes when someone points out something negative that you're doing, that's good, right? It's a chance for you to get better. But be careful with that, because sometimes you give people those keys and they'll just use that to nitpick, just pointing out the everything. And now you go, Freddie, how do I know if someone's being super negative? Listen to your body. Listen to your body. After you hang out with someone for 90 minutes, how do you feel? Do you feel like you're energized and like you're ready to attack the world? Or are you tired? Do you got to take a nap? Are you like, all of a sudden, are you like, man, I got to go jerk off, eat some spaghetti, and take a nap? Not necessarily in that order. I would do the spaghetti first, masturbation second, nap third. But you do what you want, because this is America, right? I'm not telling you how to do your eat, jerk, nap. You know what I'm talking about? That's a filler of mine. You know what I'm talking about. I don't know why I told you guys that. I don't know why I told you guys that, because now every time you hear it, you're going to go, you fucking idiot. You did it again. See, I just pointed out the negative in myself. You can also point out the negative in yourself, so be careful. Make sure if you're pulling out negative, it's constructive. And if you point out the positive, make sure it's a real positive and you're not delusional. Man, life is confusing. You think you're one thing, but then you end up actually being another thing. And then 10 years later, you realized it wasn't either or. You were both of those things at the same time, right? You were both of those things at the same time. It's like when people ask me, oh, I like comic books. They're like, do you like Marvel or DC? And I'm like, I like both. Why do I have to choose one or the other? Why can't all the movies be good? I want more good comic book movies so that more people can respect it as an art form, right? Maybe they'll venture into comic books or things like that. But don't let these people point out the negative and everything. You'll feel it. You'll feel the more in tune, the more healed you are. Everybody's on a healing journey. They're doing therapy. They're doing spiritual coaches. You listen to your body. After you hang out with somebody, how do you feel? Are you drained of energy, or do you have more energy? Right? Do you feel confused after hanging out with this person? And I'm not talking about the confusion of like, oh my God, do I fucking like this person? That's good confusion. That's exciting confusion. When you're like, holy fuck, I just had a thing with that person. I felt they made me feel something. That's good confusion. The other confusion is your brain scattered. You need a nap. You need some tea. Maybe even get slapped in your face just to get it out of your system. So be careful for people pointing out the negative in everything. Okay, number 4, being passive aggressive. Being passive aggressive. This falls under that sarcastic category. Those things kind of work side by side. Passive aggression. I've done a podcast on passive aggression and how I think it's literally one of the things eroding society. Like you're not able to say what you mean and mean what you say. You're speaking in code. You're asking a question when you mean to make a statement. And it's frustrating for a person that, like, I deal in words. I'm terrible at numbers. I'm pretty good with words. And when people ask me a question and I'm like, there's just this thing that clicks. I'm like, oh, they're asking me a question, but they're wanting to tell me to do something. And the reason we do that is because it removes a layer of rejection to ask a question instead of making a statement. An example would be, somebody was like, hey, are you going? Are you? Here's an easy one, and this is so little, but here's an easy one. Are you hungry? My friends ask me, are you hungry? No. They go, did you eat? That's the one. Did you eat? I'm like, what does it have? What does it matter if I ate or not? Ask me if I'm hungry. Can I eat now? Not did I eat? What do you want to, we doing a diet log right now? Sometimes I can eat and an hour later I can eat again. So we're adding extra sentences when we don't need it. And that's not necessarily passive aggressive. That's the lowest form of passive aggression. The highest form can be said in like a sarcastic tone. That's what we talked about, sarcasm and passive aggression working together. This is one of those moments. Passive aggressive. Oh, yeah. Sarcasm is a big catalyst for passive aggression. They'll be passive aggressive, but they think they're being funny about it. And you're not funny. Number 5, judging others. We all do this. You just got to catch yourself so you don't head down a path of like, there's just people I'm around. They'll be like, hey, Juicy, can you believe? I'm like, yeah, I could believe. It's a human being. Everybody does something different. Leave them alone. The people that judge the hardest who got the most fucked up shit they're running from in their life too. Ain't that right? I'm telling you, we've all done this. I'm not, not sitting here being like, I've never judged. I've definitely judged in my younger years. It's almost like it's scary too. When I flipped over from like, I didn't judge a ton. I was more curious. And when I see someone doing something that I wouldn't want to do, I don't look at it as like, I'm better than you. It scares me. I go, how do I not end up like that? Especially when you come across a delusional person in life and their lens on life is just not objective and it's fucked up. I'm like, what happened to them? Because I don't want to do the steps they did so that I end up like this. Judging others. Motherfuckers think they judge Judy out here and shit. And really they're just Judy. Judging others has to feel good too, though. That has to be something that feels pretty, like, just to think, like, to really be like, I'm better than them, and how could they? It's just such a, like, do narcissists judge? Is that one of their things? That seems like a thing a narcissist would do. But I could also see it going the other way, where they're so narcissistic, they don't even bother judging you because they think that they're that much better than you. So judging others is number 5 on the list of us. Oh, the title of this was Seemingly Innocent Habits That Are Toxic. This is, when is judging ever seemingly innocent? I don't think that ever is. By the way, the writers of this article are Bustle, Bustle. I don't like that name. Something about it makes my stomach just kind of like, I'm like, ugh, Bustle. It sounds kind of sexual. It sounds kind of like you're about to get your money stolen from somebody overseas. Moving on. Number 6. Oh, this one's good. This one's so good. Trying to rescue everyone. This one's definitely a fucked up one. People's lives are fucked up, so they got to turn the other way. They got to turn the attention away from themselves and turn it to someone else and try to rescue them. To be honest, though, out of a toxic trait, this one's not bad. This is another version of half-stepping, because instead of dealing with yourself, you're trying to rescue someone else. So now if you rescue that person, good. But what I think what you've done in the rescuing from them, you've done in the de-rescuing to yourself. You know what I'm talking about by de-rescuing. Whatever the opposite of rescuing, you're harming yourself by doing that. You're putting yourself aside. You're not putting yourself first. Come on, guys. You've seen the pastels on Instagram, right? Don't be trying to rescue everyone. If you are, if you got overdraft fees, you don't need to be rescuing anybody. If you're having trouble with your finances, your health, your relationships with your family and friends, you don't need to be rescuing everyone. You need to rescue yourself. It's very easy to get distracted with other people's problems or the problems of the world. That's another big one. People who with shitty lives, all of a sudden they're like, you know what? I'm going to change the world. I'm about to get evicted, but I think I'm going to go march on something that has money or something, anything like that. It could be the other side too, whatever. Don't make it political. Don't fucking gay up this podcast making it political. We got about another year where social media is going to be like okay and kind of cool until the political season starts. And all of a sudden the political zombies are going to pop out and it's going to get really fucking lame and people are going to be fighting. And that makes me sad. I've been thinking about that a lot this week. I'm going to have to I'll get into it more on another podcast. We have a lot of things to cover here with seemingly innocent habits that are actually toxic, but trying to rescue everyone. Captain Save a Hoe, but you're the hoe that needs to be saved. Think about that. All right. Think about that next time you're trying to save somebody. Think about that next time you're trying to distract from your life to go save somebody else, Captain Save a Hoe. You being the biggest hoe of all. You hoeing yourself out for no reason other than that you can't face the facts. I don't even what facts am I talking about? I just there's like filters I remove and I just talk, and then after I say things, I'm like, what the fuck was that? Stop trying to rescue everyone. Wash your ass, get 8 hours of sleep, work out, hug somebody every now and then, consensually, obviously. Okay? Start there with trying to rescue yourself. Get a hug. Learn how to accept a hug. Number 7, having negative internal dialogue. Ooh, another thing we all have. Seemingly innocent. Is this seemingly? I guess it is. It's something humans are kind of, we got that internal dialogue. I saw a tweet the other day that said, don't make jokes about yourself negatively because your mind doesn't know the difference. And I disagree with that. That maybe that's for everyone else. And maybe because I have an affinity to comedy, I can compartmentalize that a little better. But sometimes it's funny to just be like, you fucking idiot. Like, I don't think I'm an idiot in the bad sense. I think I'm an idiot in the good sense. Or I'm a silly guy, whatever. But like, yeah, negative internal dialogue. One thing that's helped me with internal dialogue, especially with making mistakes, is when I make a mistake, and this has helped a lot with even like the spike and like, fuck, like that's when I snap. It's something very small. Good example would be like editing a podcast. If something fucks up, I'm like, fuck. But like if a big thing happens in my life, I'm kind of like, all right, what's the next move? How can we solve this? That's where I'm at with that. But the negative internal dialogue, I don't know, make sure it's funny, and then just add, if you can't remove it, just add the same level of positive, and eventually shit will start to change on changing your mindset. A great way to change your mindset is write down 3 things you've been putting off and then just go do those things. Watch how your mindset all of a sudden shifts. I used to be a huge procrastinator a few years ago, and I would say the past year or 2, I've gotten really good with that, and I've learned, because your boy's out here chasing dopamine just like the rest of us, that there is dopamine in completing a task that you've been putting off for a long time. And I keep reminding myself, if I don't want to do something, but I know I have to, I know that when I get it done 100% of the time, I feel fucking great. Especially if you're historically a procrastinator, you start to believe in yourself real quick. All right. But you just got to get started. And when I would read that on Instagram, just get started, I'm like, nigga, I can't. Like, there's something inside of me that I can't explain. I cannot get started on this project. It's not even, let's not even use the word project. I can't make this phone call that's going to last 3 minutes to get something figured out. If I got to be on hold somewhere, shit. But now with stuff like that, like a phone call, you got to be on call waiting, you got to talk to the bank. I just look at those as exercises in patience, exercises in slowing down. I've been in traffic in New York City and haven't gotten mad once. I'm like, oh, word, because I'm not going to let traffic beat me. I'm done. If you know, if you've been listening to this show, you know that my 2023 New Year's resolution is that I'm training to fight God. And if you get mad at traffic, there's no way you're going to stand a chance against the big man upstairs, right? There's no way. So anything that I don't want to do, I just look at it as an exercise in patience. And I'm just riffing right now, and there's jokes interwoven, and I'm being silly, and I'm kind of like saying, oh, this is what I do, but like I don't know shit. So take that however you want. Number 8, making everything a competition. Now doing this comedically is funny. Like if you can do it in a comedic tone and like, compete with someone. It's also funny to witness a one-upper. Like he's not even joking, like to notice them in the wild. Like every story is like, oh, dude, wait till you're done with your story. I got this other thing it's better. You'll see, like competitive mother. Like sometimes you just want to relax. I have like, different social groups. There's like artist types, which are typically, lazier, a little more laissez-faire. Then I have entrepreneur friends, which artist and entrepreneur, they're 2 sides of the same coin, right? Creative. They want to build, they want to collaborate, but sometimes it comes off different. If you're lucky, you can get both. The entrepreneurs are more like, the hustle guys. And that shit can get exhausting. We're like, I'm just trying to hang out, man. I ain't trying to like be like, hey, flip this house and get this LLC and do this. Like sometimes I'm just trying to hang out and just like talk about dumb shit. Making everything a competition. If you come across somebody that makes everything a competition, I would understand where they're coming from. Maybe they're insecure. Have compassion for them. Feel, have some compassion for them, some empathy. But one thing I would do to make it fun for yourself, if you're into that socially, if you like to just take little chances and do things just to see what happens, that's what it is. Just for the story. Make it a competition with them, but go way overboard to see if they see what, because a couple of times you might have someone go, oh, okay, I guess I was being a one upper, and you can be like, dude, it's all right. I just, we're fucking around here. Go ahead and grab a drink. Grab that blow too. What blow? Number 9, pointing out someone's flaws. Who does that? Damn. This article is titled "Seemingly Innocent Things," but a lot of these things are just real douchebag shit. Like at a certain age, you should not be doing this stuff. Pointing out someone's flaws. Parent, friend, partner. Yeah. Sometimes people that point out flaws or point out the negative, they'll mask it as like they're being constructive. You got to watch out with these sneaky ass motherfuckers. They've been hurt by the world and they want to hurt back. And some people don't do it as like bombastically as like the horrible stuff. The stuff that's happening in schools and at Vegas one time and in Orlando. That's like the worst way to do it. The least worst way to do it is to be a little passive aggressive little bitch. Or this, pointing out I'm just being a friend. I'm just being honest. That's another one. I'm just being honest. Be honest with them and see if they can take it. Give them their own medicine. Sometimes you got to step down to the level of the person that you're talking to. Think back. Optimus Prime, Transformers 4. They were in a bind and they had to call upon ancient warriors from like the dinosaur era. This is like way after Optimus. And he was like, I'm going to get reinforcements. He unlocks them. They were stuck in the ship. And Optimus wanted them to join his side. And the only way for them to do that, because they were old school. These are old school dudes. They only know power. They only will follow the most powerful. So Optimus Prime squared up against Grimlock is his name. He was the dinosaur. Pop, pop, pop. During the fight, he turned into a dinosaur, and Optimus, it gives me goosebumps the whole time, punches him in the face at one point. He's letting him know, like, if you don't join us, we're going to perish. And at one point, he's like, let me lead you. As he's punching this dude in the face, then he turns into a dinosaur and charges at Optimus, and Optimus lays him the fuck out. And then he puts the sword on his neck, and he's like, protect my family or die. And he's saying, you join me, we beat these guys, I'm going to give you your freedom. If you don't, I'm going to kill you. And Optimus normally doesn't kill like that. But he did it because that's the only thing those prehistoric Autobots or Transformers, that's the only thing they know is power. The second he beat Grimlock, the most powerful dude in his own crew, what did his boys do? His 3 boys. Immediately, once he took that L, they just transformed and they rolled with Optimus. And sometimes when you're dealing with shitty, toxic people, sometimes you got to fight fire with fire. This ain't for everybody, but if you know you can do it, be a little smartass. Let them see the error of their ways. Be the lesson that the universe puts in front of them so these motherfuckers will learn today. Number 10, commandeering conversations. Guilty. Anybody with ADHD is probably guilty. You get a little too excited and you're like, ah. A great way when you feel like you're fucking sucking the air out of the room or commandeering conversation, just ask questions. This is a good one. Ask questions. I love when people talk. I love when people talk more than me in conversation. I have a talk show. I do stand up. And I like just hearing interesting things. But if you ever feel like you have an issue with over talking, catch yourself when you interrupt someone and hit them with the, oh shit, my bad. Why don't you go? But also just ask questions. Just ask questions, y'all. Number 10 is commandeering conversations. And sometimes conversations need to be commandeered because motherfuckers cannot hold a conversation. And if you have that ability to raise the vibe by taking over, do it. But it has to happen organically. Number 11, and the last one, telling someone to cheer up when they're sad. Now, comedically, when you do it like over the top, it's actually pretty funny. Someone's like, "Oh, I'm depressed." Be like, "Dude, just fucking just smile." Dude, depression's not real. There, you believe that? You believe that liberal media that depression is real? Make a funny joke. Make a, telling someone to cheer up when they're sad. When somebody tells you bad information, I just hit them with that sucks. That's one of the biggest things I learned being in a 10-year relationship with a woman is that they don't want you to solve the problems, and you got to sit back on that. Damn, babe, that sucks. Really? You do so much, and you got to mean it. Obviously, there's a couple fuckboys listening that are going to use this in their thing where they get to pretend to be empathetic, but that's okay. We're out here spitting for the good people, but every now and then, you know, the nuclear bomb, the atom, what is it? The technology for the nuclear bomb wasn't made for the nuclear bomb, or maybe it was actually. I think they did it in like a day. Hey, let me stop talking about history because that's not really my thing, y'all. I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope your Q1 was great, and I'm blessing you for this Q2. How was your Q1? What's your Q2 looking like? All right, and I'll leave you with this one question. People seem to like it when I ask it, so I'm going to ask it to you. What are you looking forward to?
Well, what do you mean? What are you looking forward to?
Whatever that means. This week, this month, in life, what's the next thing you're looking forward to? And think about that answer. If you don't have one, you better find one quick. That's it for me.
Bye.